in like a lion, out like a lamb, the Ides of March, all that stuff wrapping up, coming together on Selection Sunday. It's the best time of year for college basketball. Brandon Cruz, Lily's out, Tim Van Vorn, and you. Here's our starting lineup. Golden Eagles and Badgers dancing. Where do they stand, and what's up next for them? It's a free agent frenzy in Green Bay as the team says goodbye to Aaron Jones and welcomes in a pair of big-name guys. Bobby Portis is in the zone. He's making us say what? Chris Middleton with his anticipated return to the Bucs lineup. And time to cheer for this week's high school hotshot.
We still can probably beat whoever in the country, I think. And I think that's a testament to our team. I think we're warriors, like Coach always says. We're gladiators, and we're going to fight no matter what. So without them, we've played some really good teams and have some really good chances to win those games. And we have beaten some really good teams and won those games. So obviously, we can't wait to have him back. I was talking to him the other day, like, man, I can't wait to have you back. I miss you out there. But until then, we're gonna hold it down for him.
Tyler Kolek kind of smiling there, smirking a little bit with the beverage, and David Joplin saying, yeah, we want you back. Lily, let's start with you. You'll be with Marquette in the NCAA tournament. That means you're going back to Indiana, and the Marquette Golden Eagles have a game they should win to start things out.
Yeah, it'll be a fun matchup, though, right? They're the number 2 seed taking on Western Kentucky, the number 15 seed, and the leading scorer for the Hilltoppers is a Milwaukee kid himself, and so that'll be a fun matchup to watch play out. But, this is a Marquette team that goes into this tournament, as a number 2 seed for the second straight year. They know what they have with this team. They've been doing this for the last 3 years under Shaka Smart, so this is a team that expects to be playing into at least the second weekend. But to do so, they're going to have to get past that first round matchup, and they're going to do so, hopefully, with Tyler Kolek. He did announce during this, Selection Sunday show that he said, I'm back, so we'll see again if he does indeed come back. But the plan looks like the Golden Eagles will be playing Tyler Kolek in their NCAA opener. Again, he's missed the last 6 games, but like David Joplin was talking about, they learn a lot about themselves with him not on the court and watching from the sideline. So this is a team that's getting more confident. Cam Jones carried a big load, and he talked about, he liked that role as well, and David Joplin and Stevie Mitchell and company. So this is a confident team heading into Friday.
Shaka Smart losing his voice a little bit after it was a busy week in Madison Square Garden, but he's not losing his touch with this team.
No, and that's the one thing that you've noticed from the start of this season all the way to where they are now. They have been connected. I mean, this is a group that is very close. It's very obvious when they're on the court together, but you also notice it off the court, and that makes such a difference to me for a program that is moving forward and winning to a program that's in disarray or trying to figure things out. And when you see that happen, you see how they picked themselves up without Tyler Kolek because of that connectedness, because of the fact that they believe in one another. There is a lot of trust there, and if mistakes are made, there's no fingers being pointed. They're just worried about making the next play, making the next stop, and that to me is all about the way Shaka Smart coaches these guys and how they buy into him. I mean, it is a very positive thing going over there downtown.
Very positive experience at the Garden with this raucous atmosphere there for these teams, and you see Marquette there getting the draw with Western Kentucky on the bottom of your screen to the right. The Wisconsin Badgers also did well in their conference tournament, Lily, and they seemed like a different team than 2 or 3 weeks ago.
They picked up another gear. I think this is a Badgers team that we saw kind of dwindle, and they didn't look like themselves, but then the conference tournament happens, and this is a team that we expected to be playing the entire year. They were number 6 in the country at one point, for goodness sake. So this team is playing with a lot of confidence, and they're doing it behind guys that they need to be playing well behind. Chucky Hepburn, Tyler Wall, AJ Storr, those are the guys that make this team go, and that's exactly what they got come tourney time. I think their win against Purdue in overtime, I think, was the most impressive one of the year. Of course, it's against Purdue, but just how they are able to rebound back, make those clutch shots, play good defense, and take care of themselves despite multiple guys fouling out. I think this is the attitude they need to bring into the NCAA tournament.
You mentioned some very critical performers, though, Brandon. I think you have to add Kamari McGee and James Blackwell. These guys have really done things as young players coming back and giving this team a shot in the arm.
And really, you mentioned John Blackwell. I mean, he plays like he's been there before, and he's a freshman, and he has all the confidence in the world. He can shoot from anywhere. He also attacks the basket, and I think he has given them that spark that they've been looking for, because in February, we talk about how connected Marquette was on the floor. Wisconsin was in disarray. Some guys playing well, other guys not really showing up. Well, all of a sudden we get to the Big Ten tournament, and everybody is doing that. And I think it's because you see players like John Blackwell making a big impact in key moments, even though he's so young.
And McGee, I think, too, has definitely added something there. All right, will this be a happy March for the Badgers? Quick, Badgers and Golden Eagles, what do you think?
I think it'll be a decent one for the Badgers.
Same, and hopefully a happy one for Marquette.
All right.
We'll see.
Okay, very good. All right, that is the first half of things here in the first segment of the Fox 6 Sports Blitz. How about we take a little football?
It takes me back to like my Bama days, so that's a feeling that obviously that I love. So so far I love it, and it's going to be real fun just being a part of this team and being able to go to work with these guys every day. It's going to be a hungry group. I can already tell. We got a lot of young talent, and it's just going to be fun.
Ultimately, it came down to what I seen and what I felt like I believed in this team. The history of this organization and feeling like I'm, wanted by our organization. That's really what it came down to.
And here's what it comes down to for the Packers. A week ago at this time, they didn't have Josh Jacobs. They didn't have Xavier McKinney. They did have Aaron Jones. It was a whole different situation, and it's all happened in just 1 week. It's been a blur, Brandon. Are you more excited about the players coming into the Packers or disappointed about the players leaving?
Well, I think it's always disappointing to lose a guy like Aaron Jones. I don't know if I'm more excited or more disappointed, but it's tough to see a guy like that go because of what he brought both on the field and in that locker room. But now that he's gone, you have Josh Jacobs, and he isn't what Aaron Jones was when Jones left, but maybe he has the potential to be because he really has done a lot for the Raiders when he was on the field. He scores touchdowns, 46 in his career. That's more than Jones has. The one thing we have to wonder, can he catch the ball consistently? To have A.J. Dillon there with him, though, I think is also intriguing, and I do feel like there's a lot of excitement around Xavier McKinney coming because of what he adds to that defense that really seems to light up that backfield.
I think to follow on the Dillon point, that is some continuity from last year's running back room and the chemistry that Aaron Jones had a lot to do with, and A.J. Dillon factors in there as well. Kind of a surprise re-signing, if you ask me. Brandon mentioned Xavier McKinney. This might be the move of all, Lily.
It really is, because I feel like in Packers lore, right, every time there's a player that I think people are kind of keying towards, the Packers go a different direction. But Xavier McKinney, kind of the top safety available, and Brian Gutekunst goes and gets him. But what he brings to Green Bay is stability in the secondary, a playmaker at that position. He's also versatile at that position. I think that's going to be key, playing under Jeff Hafley's system. Versatility will be key, and that's what you get with Xavier McKinney. He's talking about the tackling. He wants to get more interceptions. This is just a spark plug there in the secondary, and it's such a big get for Green Bay that if whoever they pair with him, I think that's going to be a dynamic 1-2 punch back there.
And a true Brian Gutekunst type sign. He's 24 years old. Brian Gutekunst doesn't go out and sign these 30-year-old guys, even if they have a big name. He's got somebody here who could be all 4 years of these contracts sitting here, certainly in the McKinney case, a contributing key player. Also in the defensive backfield, Keyshawn Nixon is coming back. Maybe some slot corner duty, but certainly some kick return duty. And as those rules change, maybe that all-pro notation means even more.
I think so. And I think what we hadn't seen until he solidified that position was consistent. We talk about consistency all the time, but consistency in the return game. And he has really done it. He's changed this team because of what he's been able to do with the return game, giving him such better field position than we've been seeing from teams years and years and years going. And now you look at, he's going to get the ball. You know that you're most likely going to be in a good spot to start the offense. And I think to bring him back and have him in that role is going to be huge for this offense.
He has an attitude in that locker room too, Lily. That's kind of a palpable thing, to be honest with you.
It really is. And we were able to catch up with him after the last game, and he said kind of, carrying the G per se meant a lot to him. This team meant a lot to him. The guys kept him young. So what he really brings to this team, like you mentioned, is the attitude, but he backs it up with his play. And I think everyone's just excited to see what he can do, especially in the return game next season, because we saw him break one last year, or the previous year past that. But this guy is electrifying when given the chance, and maybe we might see him on offense again. I mean, that'd be fun, right? Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. He'll campaign for it for sure. And another Rich Bisaccia guy who was a recommendation to come in. You get that with Josh Jacobs as well. A.J. Dillon is coming back, and Tyler Davis is coming back. I thought they actually missed Tyler Davis at the start of last season on special teams when they were searching for things. He's back as a tight end. That's pretty much the end of Josiah DeGuara. in Green Bay.
And you have to see, I mean, you didn't see a lot of him anyway because of injury. So
all year.
you were, because of that, you saw other guys step up, and it made him expendable. So now you bring in Tyler Davis again, and you kind of, again, solidify that room with guys that know what's going on and guys you can count on. And again, they're younger. They're ready for their moment.
Absolutely. And at tight end, he's not going to play ahead of the two guys from last year's draft class. But this year's draft also has a lot of opportunity for players to come in. 5 of the top 100. You're going to have ample young talent joining this team. Where's your excitement level kind of on passing the torch from last season to this?
I'm excited because, you have a solid core, right? You found your quarterback in Jordan Love. Now you get to add more pieces around him, add to the defense. We'll see about special teams if that can get better as well. But this should be a very exciting season for Green Bay. Yeah, we'll see what the kind of quarterback situation looks like in the NFC North, likely with the Bears and the Vikings picking a quarterback in the draft. But it's going to be a really exciting year knowing that you have year 1 under Jordan Love as a starter in the books with those young players. Now let's build on it in year 2.
Expectations way different this year than they were going into last year as well. And we're going to give you our FOX6 Blitz Insta poll right here. You can go directly to the question by scanning the QR code, or you can go to fox6now.com. Who would you rather see as the Packers starting running back? It's obviously a hypothetical question, but in your mind as we sit here tonight, Aaron Jones or Josh Jacobs? Curious to see what the answers will be as we roll on. Back to basketball on the women's side of March Madness. Marquette will also be featured in the tourney. Golden Eagles get the 10 seed. They'll play number 7 Ole Miss Friday in South Bend, Indiana. The Golden Eagles, again, had to kind of wait and see where they would be in this field, but they are in, finishing with a 23-8 record during the regular season. First meeting between the two programs coming up. UW Green Bay is also in the women's field, so equal representation in the men's and women's field for our state. Come on back in a moment for Say What?
Say about that.
I want to run through a wall for him.
Maybe no, didn't miss that. He'd thrown it in from everywhere.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't know I had to make a case for that.
That almost offends me.
Don't get me wrong. I wish I did.
Can I ask you a question? So how many years have you covered me now?
4.
So have you ever seen me in the zone like that? Let's think about it.
That? Like that? I don't
just think about it, bro. I think I do that a lot, bro.
I mean, I've seen you make 7 threes, 8 3, 30 plus
Stay
points.
in the zone. I be in my own zone, man. Try to block out all the naysayers. They be talking crazy about me all year long. Trade them, all type of stuff. So I get in my own zone now.
And he did do that today. Bobby Porter scoring 25 points in the first 10 minutes he was on the floor. And he had Fiserv Forum just going crazy, chanting his name a couple of different times. And the second time he really enjoyed it. And it was also a chance, as you can see there, that he was trying to get away from his naysayers who he thinks wanted him traded out of Milwaukee. Well, a good thing he wasn't, at least for them today. Where do you think they stand, Tim? Now, after they're back here. They beat the Suns. Where are they at this point?
They're solidly second in the East. I think they're one of the top 3 teams in the East, and I think they're still really trying to find, I don't want to go back to your word from the first segment, but I will, consistency, Brad, because that's it. Some nights that you kind of go, oh, they're putting it together, and then what the heck happened? And vice versa. They're in a rut, and they spring things back up. So I still think they're putting the pieces together. I'm curious to see how much impact Chris Middleton will have on a regular basis. He certainly did today.
Well, he has just now basically 15 games or so left to try to get used to this team. How can that happen in such a short time with Chris Middleton?
He's played with a lot of these guys before, but I think that's going to be key, right? He's played with Giannis, so they have a chemistry there, but I think kind of what he brings is just more scoring options for that second unit if he is not starting. Now, if he's starting, then I think he should be. He gives him another scoring option, but I think when you have Giannis or Dame on the bench and he's into the second unit, they're not lacking the scoring. I think that was kind of an issue in past games without Chris Middleton. It was that second unit wasn't putting up any points, and now you have a guy who can drop 20 plus and get good production on the offensive side. And that mid-range jumper is still looking pretty fine. So I think despite him being out, I know he's out since February 6th. I don't think it'll be terribly tough to really integrate him back with this current team. We've seen how him and Damian Lillard were able to get the win today, especially after a very hot shooting day from beyond the arc. But I think his integration back on this team with Giannis coming back as well will make them pretty dangerous on the offensive end.
All right, we're getting now into the baseball season. We're less than 2 weeks away from opening day for the Brewers, and this week they get news they don't want to hear. Devin Williams out for 3 months with stress fractures in his spine. How can they replace him in the back of the bullpen?
You just try. I mean, they have a lot of potential guys to do that. It's a different deal when you're actually the closer at the end of the line, though. I assume it'll be Abner Uribe first to get that look, but then they've had some other guys in that setup role. But even in that setup role, a couple of them, like last year, Elvis Peguero, all of a sudden had a dead end. So you assume it's going to be, let's see what we can do here and try different guys. There's so few certainties on this team that losing Devin Williams erases a big one.
It does. It could be closer by committee to start the season. We'll see how that unfolds. Let's check in on the Instant Poll question. Remember, you can go directly to it right now by scanning this code or going to our website, fox6now.com. Who would you rather see as the Packers starting running back, Aaron Jones or Josh Jacobs? So far, the majority of you are saying Aaron Jones. Let's see if that's that way come the end of our show. When we come back, we'll have the high school hot shot.
Welcome back. The senior proved it's never too late to find your passion and break some barriers, and by doing so, that helped his team pull off a feat worthy of a national spotlight. Here's this week's Fox 6 High School Hot Shot.
Hello, my name is Andre Price. I am a current senior at Menominee Falls High School, and I am on the varsity cheer team. I think what made me inspired to do cheerleading is just I wanted to try something new. Had multiple friends who were in cheerleading. From the words, they just convinced me to do it, and I fell in love with it. My junior year, I came in with no experience at all. I didn't know a lick of anything, and I was the first boy to ever be on the team, so that was very nerve-wracking for me, and I didn't know how the program was going to accept me, kind of. I made JV my junior year, which I was so grateful for. I was so happy. That's when I first started tumbling, throwing back handspring. I tried out again my senior year with the intentions on making varsity. That's just when my skills started to develop more. I really put in a lot of work. I learned to trust a lot. You know, I have to trust my flyer has to trust me. So we won the national title of Small Co-ed Game Day Division II. This was unheard of for us. We never thought in a million years that we would win nationals. Yeah, so game day is basically a routine where you're just having fun. You're showing school pride, you're having fun, you're doing call-outs, you're doing sidelines. It's like you're at a football game. This is our first time in this division, and our first time winning, and our first time making it to finals, so we did make a lot of history. I would say that my biggest hobby right now is I like to read, as well as I'm just big in healthcare. Right now, I'm a certified nursing assistant. I really have the dreams of becoming a neonatal nurse. I like calming things. I like to write. I like to just watch movies. I'm just a very calming person outside of cheer. Michigan State University, that's where I want to go, and I have the intentions on cheering there. Cheerleading does not end here, hopefully. I'm Andre Price. I'm a senior at Menominee Falls High School, and I'm a fresh 2024 National Cheer Champion. And I'm this week's Fox 6 High School Hot Shot.
And not only did Andre, the Menominee Falls cheerleading team, win a national championship at UCA Nationals this year, they also capped off their high school season by repeating as state champions as well. Well, speaking of state champions, the boys' state basketball tournament wrapped up in Green Bay, and in Division I, the Marquette Hilltoppers topped Arrowhead to claim their first basketball title since 1999. It was actually in Madison. Meanwhile, Wisconsin Lutheran finished an undefeated season with a gold ball in Division II as Mr. Basketball's Con Kniffel led the Vikings to a state title over their rivals Pewaukee. St. Thomas More made Cavaliers history in Division III, beating Lakeside Lutheran to claim the school's first state title. And finally, Kenosha St. Joe's earns a runners-up finish in Division IV. So congratulations to all our teams this season. We will be right back.
You're ready for the new man on the Fox 6 Blitz Insta Poll. You're looking for Josh Jacobs as your preferred Packers starting running back this season.
How about that? Well, the Bucs get a few days off before they go to Boston on Wednesday and then return home for Thursday and Sunday matchups.
And let March Madness begin. Marquette, Western Kentucky, Friday, 1 o'clock. Wisconsin, James Madison, Friday, 8:40 p.m., both in the South region. Marquette and Green Bay women also in the tournament.
And you'll be with the Golden Eagles. Thanks for being with us tonight.